inclusive education and diversity, representing by Group 1 members. So these are the objectives that we are going to discuss of our presentation. So, good morning everyone. Today we will tackle about the inclusive education and diversity. So, before we anything else, we will like to show our some objectives. So, we have defines inclusive education. It states the four benefits of effective common learning environments. Enumerate the different benefits of inclusive education, discussing the students' diversity with, explain the four layers of diversity, discuss the ability and disability as dimension of diversity, and also explain teaching strategies and tools for diverse learners. Elaborating the tips for diverse learners and my mainstreaming in special education, and discuss the different successful teaching approaches for diverse learners. So, first we will define the inclusive education. So, what is inclusive education? So, from the word in, so it is refers to students with disabilities to access an education in a safe learning environment, and also for those students with or without, or sinasabi natin, mabigyan sila ng access sa pag-aaral ng pantay. So we have the benefits of effective common learning environment. So we have enabled each students to fully participate in the learning environment that is designed for all students and shared with peers in choosing educational settings. So ibig ko sabihin yan is, ang layunin ay gawing mas mahusay ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral upang maging mas epektibo or aktibo ang lahat ng pag-aaral sa kanilang paglahok sa mga gawain at pagsasanay sa pag-aaral. Next is provide a positive climate, promote a sense of belonging, and ensure student progress towards appropriate personal, social, or emotional and academic goals. So, ibig sabihin niyan is ang paglikha ng isang kapaligiran ay nagbibigay ng positibong karanasan at kapanatagan sa mag-aaral. Layunin nila ang paramihin ang pakiramdam ng bawat bahagi ng komunidad sa loob ng tahanan. So, ito ay pagtiyak na matugunan at matutupad ang kanilang bawat pangangailangan ng student with disability. So next is responsive to individual learning needs by providing sufficient levels of support and applying student-centered teaching practices and practices. So ito ay naglalarawan ng isang pamamaraan ng pagtuturo na tumutugon sa individual. Dapat handa o maging handa sa tumutugon ng mga espesyal na pangangailangan ng mga may kapansanan. So, the last is designed to be delivered to students of mixed ability and with their peer grouping communities school while being responsive to their individual needs. So, ibig sabihin niya na isinagawa para sa mga mag-aaral ng mga may iba't ibang antas ng kakayahan. So, mabigyan bantay na oportunidad ang lahat ng mag-aaral na kahit na mayroon pagkakaiba sa kanilang kakayahan. So, we have the benefits of inclusive education. So, first is support to civil rights na nangangahulugang layuning protektahan ang bawat paprotektahan at itaguyod ang kanilang karapatan o pagtanggol ang karapatan sibil ng mga tao laban sa diskriminasyon o pang-aabuso sa ibang uri ng paglabag sa kanilang karapatan. So madalas na ayon sa aking research, mas madalas na nakaranas yung ng diskriminasyon yung galing sa iba't ibang kultura kaysa sa yung estudyante na may kapansanan. So integration in community. Ito ay tumutukoy sa proseso ng pagpapakilos at pag-uugnay ng iba't ibang aspeto ng buhay sa loob ng isang komunidad. Gaya halimbawa po ng social na interaction, ekonomiya, edukasyon, or in other words ay pagkakaisa. Sense of belonging is an acceptance of differences. So it means na tumutukoy ito sa pakiramdam ng pagiging bahagi o pagkakaugnay ng isang individual sa isang tiyak na grupo, sa isang komunidad. Ito ay nagbibigay pag-asa, suporta at pagkakakinlangan sa isang individual. Variety of learning opportunities. So ito ay paraan ng pag-aaral na ibinibigay sa mga mag-aaral upang mas malawak ang kanilang kaalaman at kakayahan. Gaya po ng hands-on activities at saka technology-based learning. Use and best in instructions. So ito ay naglalayong makabuti ang komunikasyon, may parating ng malinaw at epektibo ang kanilang mga mensahe upang matiyak na maayos ang kanilang pagtuturo o mapatupad nila ang kanilang hakbang para sa mga mag-aaral. Individualized education in supportive context. So, naglalarawan ito ng mga hakbang o paraan ng pagtulong ng naglalayo na mapalakas ang kanilang kakayahan, kaalaman at pagpapagalang sa pag-unawa sa kanilang sitwasyon. Next is relationship with peers. So, sa interaksyon at ugnayan ng isang individual sa kanyang mga kapwa o kasama katulad ng edad at katayuan sa buhay at interes. So, itong peers, ito ay isang mag-aaral, magaling na mag-aaral, nagtuturo din sa kanyang mag-aaral o nais pa ibagi ng kanyang mga natutunan para din sa maraming kapansanan. So, it increase instructional support for all students. So, tumutukoy ito sa pagtaas ng suporta at pagtutok ng mga guro at edukador sa pagtuturo na maging matiyak ang kanilang pagtuturo at makatanggap ng mga kinakailangan na gamitan. Improving schools through team building. So, ito po ay tumutukoy sa paglikha ng malakas na samahan o pagtutulungan ng isang mga guro, admin at saka mga magulang. Gaya po ng pagbahagi ng kanilang vision or mission and vision at saka goals. So, parental involvement means tumutukoy sa partisipasyon ng mga magulang sa kanilang mga mag-aaral o sa kanilang mga anak na nag-aaral at pagunlad para sa kanilang pagunlad ng mga anak magabayan ito gaya ng pakikilaw po ng pag-eskwela o sa komunikasyon ng kanilang guro. So, the next is mainstreaming in special education. So, it refers to children with an individualized education program or IEP attending a regular classroom for their social and academic benefit. So, isa itong konsepto na naglalayong bigyan ng oportunidad ang mga student with disabilities na makibahagi o maging bahagi sa kanilang pangkaraniwang klase, gaya ng social interaction or inclusion at saka support services. So, the next reporter is with my team.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Christian David Atilan, and I will be discussing about the Luden's diversity bill. So, according to Luden, um, according to Luden, in the very first place, it is to open up the diversity conversation so that everyone at the table can identify the same dimensions. Or in other words, the goal for an organization, the goal for an organization is to create an environment where, regardless of one's diversity profile, everyone feels welcome and where everyone's skills are leverage. Bali kining kuan daw, ang goal daw sa isa ka kining organization ng students will kaya kining mag-create siya of environmental kung asa regardless of one's diversity profile kanang sa kinang ang diversity profile mao siya of kining equity or equality pa na siya. Then kanang ang uban daw kining welcome daw siya sa unsa bisan pa kung sa asa kagikan or ay kung sa pa yung mga status sa isang buhay ay kinana, balik wala yung mga discriminatory ata. Everyone is welcome. Then, kuan daw, kung meaning ang ilang kining skills nila is leverage, balik yung supported ang ilang skills ba, kining walay supported ng kung sa ang skills sa isa ka kining sa isa ka university. Then, also, Lodens mentioned that there are four layers of diversity bill, and these are first is the personality, the second one is the internal dimensions, the third one is external dimension, and the fourth one is organizational dimension. First, if we say the personality, diversity, meaning kung ano siya ba, meaning within bitaw sa tawa, balik ako, alam mo siya pa, kanang ang exact ay ang kining ginakuha sa personality dili ang mga kining kuan kay how we think and communicate. Bali ko ano man na siya no kining syempre personality ka. The way mo ta mag-communicate o mag-kining kuan, mag-think. Then also dili ko na to siya makuha kung ang atong dislikes at atong mga ganahan. Bali dislikes dili to ganahan ang atong mga likes o then the second one is the internal dimensions. Bali kining related ka mo siya sa personality. Kining largely kining kuan daw siya baka nang sa atong kining out of control emotions na to ni siya nga ang sani sa internal dimensions. Then the third one is the external dimensions, which is ilang kuan na kay mahulog na ni siya nga kining makuan na like maigo na diri ang imong kaning social kita kining kuan kining sa gawas na ba like sa inyong ika ang inana siya labot na siya dira sa external means kanang kining sa gawas bitaw kining kuan pa pag internal sa kuan man sa sulod sa external balik sa panglabas na siya ba kining labot na ang ubang kuan dira kining unsa kining kuan daw kining nana sa impact sa tinuoy like sa kanang sa like income quota o income like mga kining kanito needs na dito sa kuan. Then the last one is the organizational dimensions, which is kining external of organizational dimensions, related na po siya. Pero ang nakalagay lang, ang organization is, dako na kaya siya ang pilihan pa. Kining, dako na kaya siya kining.
Okay, excuse me ha. Sino yung natulog sa inyo na dito? I just want to,
Discussion, so then I already discussed the 4 layers of diversity, which is the personality dimension. The second one is the internal dimension. The third one is the external dimension, and the last one is the organizational dimension. So after that, also, according to Velasco, that according to their study or their research, that a person's primary dimensions of diversity, they exert important impact of one early socialization. Maligining, dako po lang impact ng layers of diversity sa ato ang lingkuan, sa ato ang sarili when it comes sa social kay makuan daw nato like sa kining dako kay siya yung impact sa ato alin sa atong sarili then also according to Rudel, he also mentioned that in order to understand better these dimensions, which are the personality, the internal, external, and organizational dimensions, the individual must have respect, inclusion, cooperation, and responsibility. Because if the individual don't have that, wala din siya kung wala siya respeto, wala yung cooperation, imeta mo, or dili mo siya responsibility, useless na po na yung kuan, dili dyan po mo siya mga understand sa layers of diversity. Then also, in addition, or furthermore, in layers of diversity po daw kay makatabang po daw siya sa students and teachers. Like sa teachers, ay pilit sa students na kaya siya mas makakuan of big help. Like kanang kung tawag na ito, if mag-conduct of research, na isa sa kining kining contribution sa makatabang din sila kay makatabang siya sa pagmaganda ng research and also parang makatabang po siya kanang sa ilang internship pa makatabang po lang siya sa ilang kay syempre kay like sa example natin dito sa kanang external na income sa kanang kining status sa kanang work so makatabang din siya po sa students when it comes to internship. And the last one is maganda of research sa klasa. Then that's all of my report.
So ability and disability as a definition of diversity. So it is the exploration of all differences in a safe, positive, and learning or nurturing environment. And we have some factors that help for those diverse learners. So first is people with disabilities from culturally diverse backgrounds, experience-wise discrimination experienced by the non-disabled person. So example ko dyan is yung mga cultural and linguistic barriers. At saka mas nakakaranas yung mga nakakaranas ng mga discrimination, gaya ng nasabi kanina is yung may iba't ibang kultura, galing sa ibang kultura, kaysa sa may kapansada. So, next is there is a disparity in rehabilitation services provided to minority persons with disability. So ito ay naglalarawan ng di pagkakapantay-pantay o pagkakaiba sa mga serbisyong rehabilitation, rehabilitation, rehabilitasyon na binibigay sa mga minority persons na may kapansanan kumpara sa ibang tao na normal. Example ko dito is yung lack of
May signal.
access, or ability or lack of facilities. Educational opportunities are less available and affordable to individuals with disabilities from culturally diverse backgrounds. So ito ay nagpapayag ng katotohanan na ang mga oportunidad sa edukasyon ay mas limitado at hindi gaano abot kaya para sa individual na may kapansanan o sa iba't ibang kultura. Halimbawa po niyan ay yung financial constraints at saka lack of accessible resources. So sa ngayon, hanggang dito na lang muna pagpapatuloy po mas dahil lack of time.
Good morning everyone, my name is Queenie Aldomingo and I'm going to discuss about the ability and disabilities as dimension of diversity. First is people with disabilities from culturally diverse backgrounds experience twice the discriminations experienced by non-disabled people. So, individuals with disabilities who also belong to minority communities face a double dose discrimination. They experience discrimination because of their disability, and they also face discrimination because of their race or cultural background. This makes their situation even more challenging because they have to deal with biases and obstacles related to both disabilities and race. Second is there is disparity in rehabilitation services provided to minority persons with disabilities. Minority individuals with disabilities often don't receive the same level of rehabilitation services as others. This means they might not get the same support, therapy, or help they need to improve their health or function because of their race or cultural background. This disparity can make it harder for them to overcome their disabilities and lead fulfilling lives. Third, educational opportunities are less available and affordable to individuals with disabilities from culturally diverse backgrounds. So, some people with disabilities who came from different backgrounds may not have as many chances to go to school or the kind of school they need, and some they can't afford it either. Fourth, inadequate transportation and housing in disadvantaged community intensity the employment barriers for minority people with disabilities. In some neighborhoods where people have less money, it's harder for them to find good transportation and housing. This makes it really tough for minority people who also have disabilities to find jobs. Fifth, there is a lack of mentors and role models for minority individuals with disabilities in the workplace. So, in some workplace, there aren't enough people who can guide and inspire minority individuals with disabilities. They need more mentors and role models to look up to and learn from. 6. Mainstream job coaching and mentoring on the job training and internships are often not readily available to minority individuals with disabilities. So sometimes, minority individuals with disabilities don't have easy access to programs that help them learn job skills and get experience through training, internships, or mentorships in regular workplace. Seventh is both both mainstream and minority communities and religious organizations tend to overlook their capability to support the employment of with disabilities. So both big communities and smaller ones like religious groups forget they can help people with disabilities find jobs. They need always realize the way they can support them in getting employed. 8. Cultural differences are not easily understood by individuals or organizations designing programs to support the employment of minority persons with disability. So people or groups who create programs to help minority individuals with disabilities find jobs might not fully understand or appreciate the differences in cultures. They may not realize how these cultural differences can affect the effectiveness of their programs. Teaching strategies and tools for the reverse learners. Teachers promote critical thinking when they make the rules of the classroom culture explicit and enable students to compare and contrast with other cultures. So, teachers help students to think critical thinking by clearly explaining the rules and norms of their classroom culture. And they also encourage students to compare and contrast these rules with those of other cultures. So there are some activities and tips for diverse learners. First, write a, write a question on a bond paper and read it aloud. Second, write several questions or individual pieces of paper and distribute among students. Third, write a several question on a sheet of paper and distribute among students. Fourth, ask students to come up with their own questions based on the concept and topics. So, these activities and tips cater to the diverse needs and preferences of students, ensuring that all learners have the opportunity to succeed and thrive in the classrooms. There are 12 different successful teaching for diverse learners. First is teachers have a clear sense of their own ethic and cultural identities. Teachers know who they are and where they came from, like their culture and ethnicity. Second is teachers communicate high expectation for the success of all students. So teachers believe that all students can do well, and they make sure to tell students that they expect them to succeed. Third, teachers are personally committed to achieving equity for all students and believe that they are capable making a differences in students' learning. So teachers want every student to have the same chances to succeed, and they think they can help students learn better. Fourth, teachers have developed a bond with their students and seeing their students as the others. So teachers have become close to their students and don't see them a difference as different or separate from themselves. Fifth, schools provide academically changing curriculum that includes attention to the development of higher level cognitive skills. So schools give students work that makes them think think hard and learn new things, include skills like problem solving and critical thinking. Sixth, instruction focuses on students creating of meaning about content in an interactive and collaborative learning. So teachers teach students by letting them figure out what things means together, working and talking together to learn. 11. Teachers help students see learning tasks as meaningful. So teachers help students understand why what they're learning is important or useful. The contribution and perspective of the different ethnocultural groups that compose the society. So schools lessons include the ideas and views of all the different cultural groups in society. Ninth is teachers provide scaffolding that links the academically challenging curriculum to the cultural resources. So teachers help students understand difficult schoolworks by connecting it to things from their own culture or background. 10 is teacher explicitly teach students the culture and the schools and seek the maintain students' sense of ethnocultural pride and identity. So teachers teach students about the school's culture and try to help them feel proud of who they are and where they came from. 11 is community members and parents or guardians are encouraged to be involved in student education. So people from the neighborhood and parents are encouraged to join in and help with students' schoolings. The last one is teachers are involved in political struggles outside the classroom that are aimed at achieving a more just human society. So teachers are part of fights or arguments outside of the schools to make society fairer and kinder.